Inflation is cooling, stocks are moving higher, but the Federal Reserve still has a tricky decision ahead. Hey everyone, it's Thursday morning, August 13th, and welcome back to Capital Markets Quickie. I'm your host, Endrit Sella, here to break down yesterday's market action in just 2 minutes. Quick note before we dive in, today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. All right, let's get started. So, Wall Street ended mostly higher yesterday as investors digested another encouraging inflation report. The Standard & Poor's 500 gained 0.3%, while the Nasdaq Composite climbed around 0.5%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was basically flat, finishing just below the unchanged line. Now, the big story was inflation. Consumer prices rose 3.4% from a year earlier in July, exactly in line with expectations and slightly below the 3.5% rate in June. On a monthly basis, prices increased just 0.1%. That's good news, but inflation is still well above the Federal Reserve's 2% target, and that keeps the September rate decision complicated. After yesterday's report, traders shifted more clearly toward the idea that the Fed will keep interest rates unchanged after the odds had been roughly 50-50 just 1 day earlier. Meanwhile, the Middle East remains an important risk for markets. The United States and Iran are still deadlocked over reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Tensions increased after the U.S. fired on a Panama-flagged ship attempting to cross the Gulf of Oman on Tuesday. That helped push Brent crude close to $90 per barrel, keeping pressure on inflation and treasury yields. So, cooler inflation gave stocks a little support yesterday, but with oil prices elevated and geopolitical tensions still running high, the Fed's job is far from easy. All right, that's it for today's Capital Markets Quickie. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe and stay in the loop. See you tomorrow morning.